Welcome to the Crypto Navigator. I'm your host, Alan. And tonight we got on a wonderful group of individuals for you guys tonight. We got CypherX. Welcome in, CypherX. Can you hear us? We also have GDLT on tonight. G, welcome in. We also have Nerdy. And we got DJ Jazzy Sean.
What up? What up?
Welcome, everybody. I hope my audio sounds good right now. I think I'm a little
What's
hot.
up?
What's up, G? I got to mute for about 5 minutes. Hold on.
What's up,
Gotcha.
G?
So, guys, lots to talk about tonight. Man, this has been a wild roller coaster ride getting to my on script, what I put in the description. Yeah, we did talk about this last week on the stream. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did say 30% pullbacks only because I've been following the right person and listening to a lot of the information out there and just doing my own research, and it's been paying off. I did say I was going to double down this year and get a little bit more into studying the charts and things of that nature, and Cypher has been on point. Thank you, brother, for keeping me sane and not understanding what's going on with the market. And it's really been helping me with my, controlling my emotions, because we all have them. None of us can lie here and say we can't get upset and get, fudded out from time to time, because we all do. And it happened to me this week of all weeks. It's nice to have that little bit of insight and just forward knowledge of what's really going on, and kind of really even what to even expect if you're, paying attention and following these charts. So the FLMC meeting, Cypher, are you there? Can you talk a little bit about what you got out of that and what you see going forward? And then if you don't mind, G, after that, you just ended your stream. I didn't even hear the deep reds. There's some pretty good movement on some coins today. If you want to talk about that, Nerdy, dude, you just did you spun my head around with this streaming thing that's coming up now, and I would love to hear about that. And the last video I want you to touch a little bit on that as well. And Sean, you got something that DAI was talking about today that I didn't get to watch, so please bring me some insight on that. Go ahead, Cypher.
I'm gonna let you guys go first because I still got my daughters up. I'm trying to get them to go to bed. So you guys go ahead and share first.
Roger that.
Go ahead, G.
G.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I think we're with where we're at in the market. It's another day, it's another week, and it's still the same mission, is trying to get as many of these things away from the AI and robots as we can. So deep reds, ISO 222 cryptos have been taking a dive. I'll keep accumulating. Dollar cost averaging, I'll throw my coffee money in there. I'm not going to over leverage, and keeping that eye of the tiger, that kind of killer instinct, level-headed mentality, right? Blockchain's not going anywhere. It's just going to continue to grow. The adoption's going to continue to grow. The roller coaster of prices may be happening, but it's only because we pay attention to it every single day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's well said there, G. Some of the things that I've been paying attention to that you got on the deep reds, I didn't hear because I didn't get the last part of it. Was XX doing actually a recovery at this point in time? Are you still see some major movement with that coin? I'm asking that one in particular because that's the one I'm kind of most interested in as of right now, of potentially, if I'm going to throw some, in my opinion, what I'm doing with my money. I don't give financial advice on this, and neither does anybody in the stream. We all share our knowledge as a collective group. For those of you who are just tuning in, shout out to the chat, by the way. We bring insight from what we've learned and what we're sharing on our channels. And we try to bring you the best value that we can and bring you day-to-day insight of what's really going on in the market and what we're doing with our investment. So me personally, I'm putting a little bit of money aside for things like XX because we have the memes running today. I knew it. I was even going to say it and write it in the description 2 days ago. It's kind of like predictable. Like the people are just going to throw money at stuff and not even care what type of utility it is, because we're not at utility phase right now. But I'm pretty excited about that one, G. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about XX.
Yeah, the XX network, a little history on it, just really quick. David Chaum, godfather of crypto, they call him. He created eCash back in the 90s, and there's some connections with him, even back into the 80s. But yeah, his big thing, eCash, and then he goes on and creates the Elixir network. Chris Larson of Ripple is invested in the Elixir network, and we've been following it since then, anticipating the launch of this token for XX Network. XX Network comes out. Privacy-focused platform, claiming to be quantum resistant, but with David Chaum's history in cryptography, I guess I would put his word against other, maybe some other people in the crypto space that aren't as reputable. Collaborating with the BIS and Swiss National Bank on privacy-focused CBDCs with their CMIX technology. It's at a 1 billion supply. I do think it could be a multiple $billion platform. It's getting some really good partnerships rolling out already with WorldCoin, and they're building a bridge with the XRPL. And then there's other, they've partnered up with a decentralized, privacy-focused web browser. They have a private messenger. They have products that you can use. So yeah, that's what gets me really bullish with it is, I'm excited for it under $1. We were excited to, see the value there as it went down into the deep reds at around I think it went to 4 cents or 9 cents around there. And yeah, it's had a nice little run up, but I still think it, I'm excited to see where this goes in the coming years. I think it's still the beginning for this ascending asset. So I like having starting positions here and just kind of understanding that maybe it may go down to, 12 cents or 15 cents again or something like that. But, this is more about the long-term play here and how privacy is just going to be more and more necessary and essential, right? Especially with cybersecurity needs increasing. So yeah, that's why we like the XX network. I think it's the more adult in the room version of Monero, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that's what we like about the XX network.
That's what made me really kind of focus on that. Privacy is going to be. What'd you say? You're tired, nerdy?
No, I said shots fired at Monero. Ooh.
Talk about
it. I hope all of them win. I hope all of them win, dude. I like Secret Network. I like, Monero and stuff like that. I hope they could all win. But
XX is safer though.
Already achieved a good amount. It looks like they're playing ball with the elites.
That's what I'm talking. Because it's all about. I mean, look, we got meme coins running, right? We got the AI that's running, and it has ran. And I mean, what's next? We got to have privacy. So that's kind of why I'm like, it's so cheap. If it's gonna run, it could have just amazing potential. So yeah, that's why I'm glad you talked about it.
Blockchain projects wanting to connect to it to get that privacy feature onto their blockchain. That's why it's so big for that XRPL bridge, because now you get on-demand liquidity and on-demand privacy at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder if they have any partnerships with Medico or Zino, or I can't remember the other one that starts with a Z, the other custody solution that they have. And is it anything related to with Polygon? Because Polygon and Medico are essentially the same companies. They're brother and sister companies, supposedly. This is the latest that I've heard about those two. And if that's the case, that's pretty much a lock. If they already have custody solutions and they already have, they're just waiting for essentially the launch. Is that correct?
Launch of the XX token, or
no. So are they coming out with their own type of DEX for that type of security? How are they gonna?
Yeah. I wonder. I don't know if there's a DEX. I know you can go to their wallet explorer, the XX wallet explorer, and that's where you can custody your XX and I think stake your XX as well. But yeah, no DEX that I know of. I think you could do swaps in there, but I don't know what you would swap it for. I just send and receive into that Wallet Explorer. So I haven't really delved too deep in trying to see if they have a DEX on the way. I'm sure that's in development. You know, there's still about a year old crypto, you know, so they're still young in this space.
Utilizing the privacy features of that could be like a wrap version, even.
Right.
You think that could be a potential that could
Yeah.
happen on something like that?
Yeah.
Because that's what it's going to be about. I mean, because open ledger, anybody can see anything on chain at any given time.
Exactly.
And then, you know, so people like you and I and everybody else were more or less, if we're going to be in that, you know, 1 percentile of, let's say, the highly likelihood of that potentially happening, we are going to be more focused on and hyper focused on that type of decentralization for our own needs, right, and privacy combination. So I'm super excited about it. Even just to have
it's a utility crypto.
It's
it's a utility crypto. It's a need. Privacy is an absolute need if we're going to be talking about the next generation of money.
So anybody else got any information on what they feel is a better privacy? Please drop it in the chat and or share. Anybody in the stream at Nerdy, if you got any other potential candidates, I'm really curious to hear about it.
No, I don't know anything.
Dude, Nerdy's in the XX pool with me, man. We got an XX Messenger connection already.
I love XX. XX is dope, guys. Like, if you haven't used it, I highly suggest you try to use it. Find a friend and use it because it's dope. It works.
Yeah, I don't have nothing on XX.
If you need a friend, you can be your friend and you can message me. I don't mind.
I think it's one of the sleepers. Like we don't know what a bull cycle. There's not enough history on this project, so we don't know what a bull cycle looks like for this thing. Like what the market actually values it at. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the market that I also want to talk about, guys. This ETHgate thing is getting pretty heated up. It's getting pretty exciting. I want some people to talk a little bit about that, what they're feeling about it, because
oh man, it's freaking crazy.
I think it's
go ahead.
No, Sean. I just think it's just the greatest FUD campaign that could be thrown at the market right now. I mean, this is reminding me of 2021 when potential Cardano was going to get a Wells notice and a few of the exchanges. So it's kind of like the same thing, an excuse to like pull the market back. And then that's why I wanted Snipen when he's got time to chime in, talk about the market a little bit and where it's. I mean, I think we got some hawkish comments from the FLMC meeting, so that was bullish for the market today, and we needed that kind of, but at the same time, with this latest, I just think it's like a double-edged sword. It's kind of hard to figure that one out. But anyway, sorry, Sean.
It's like every time that it's like, oh, we need to really look at ETH, then they throw some other, not FUD, but some other misdirection about something about XRP or the XRP lawsuit, or like you said, something about Cardano back in the day, or anything else, anything. I mean, talking about reviving Solana, talking about reviving FTX. I mean, just all this dumb stuff, so people don't pay attention to what's going on with ETH. And the SEC said that there's from what I understand, there's a secret campaign to try to classify ETH as a security. Currently, what's going on?
Mel, you got to DM me so I can get your Twitter, and I'll just send you the link. Anyway, keep going. Right after Sean Sipe was getting ready to fill in the missing blanks of what my conversation was. So
no. That's all I was going to say is that this whole thing about ETHgate is starting to get really, really real. And as long as John Deaton's running for Senate, then he's going to shed even more light on it when the campaign gets heavy. But go ahead.
ICO is fraud. ETHgate is real. ETH is security. Let's go.
I hear you.
I think cheering for that sometimes isn't a good thing, guys, because I mean, it's going to be very painful. The market's it's going to set the market back years if ETH gets rug pulled, or if ETH gets classified as a security. It's going to be I mean, then that would literally classify multiple other digital assets similar to Ethereum a security as well. I mean, it would be. I feel like cheering for ETHgate, although we all know it's true. It's gonna be devastating if it really does come to light. Like this
No.
bull market that we're all expecting, this blow off, freaking super cycle, that's gonna get postponed if ETH gets pulled.
No,
in my
I
opinion.
look. I'm not cheering for ETHgate either, but I think the bull cycle's gonna happen, and if ETHgate's gonna get taken down for whatever reason, it'll be after the bull cycle, after a whole bunch of people make a whole bunch of money, just like FTX.
I would very much love for you to be correct. Please be correct.
Well, let's be honest here. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not going anywhere, right?
No, I
let's
don't
be
think
honest
they are.
here, right?
There's too many
There's not-
systemically important businesses and
Well,
organizations that run on
It's not just that, but we have physical proof of that because someone was it Airy or something? Someone found some documentation saying that Ripple supports liquidity pools for Ethereum and Bitcoin and stuff like that. So they're not going anywhere. But if regulation is going to happen, and let's just say that proof of work gets banned, proof of work gets regulated out because of energy usage, and their whole minor argument saying that they don't know who's getting. Sorry, I'll turn it down.
Got it. I got it. Right.
They don't know who's getting paid, right, or whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's like a legit argument. That's fine. You can regulate that. That makes sense. But Ethereum going down, I don't think it's going to happen because they have such a close connection to JP Morgan, and anything JP Morgan touches, it just survives. Like it's just not going nowhere. I mean, they already have a hand with Coinbase, and then BlackRock chose Coinbase today, but for the tokenizations, I mean, that's not by choice. I mean, that's not by chance. That's all planned.
It's by design.
It's all by design, all of it, because they're all interlinked. All these companies, they're all interlinked back to BlackRock and JP Morgan. So for that reason, I don't think it's going anywhere. If regulations come in where they say proof of work needs to go away, but it could still be around by being migrated onto a different chain. I mean, you have Energy Web that does exactly that. Energy Web has efficient proofing for all their mining and stuff. So I don't know. This thing can go a lot of ways. We'll see what happens. But ETHgate, as long as ETHgate goes, I mean, something has to come out of that. That just can't be ignored. That's something that needs to be talked about. What comes about it, we don't know, but some way, somehow, is going to be brought up, and I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
That's the Hillary Clinton coin. It can't be touched.
Right?
So Sipe. What did you get out of this FOMC meeting? You see that, was it hawkish moment? Hawkish comments from the Fed?
It was actually the inverse. So last week, a vast majority of the digital asset space pulled back, and it was due to the risk-off sentiment that was created by higher PPI and CPI figures. The market started anticipating that this FOMC meeting was going to be more hawkish. But Jerome Powell came out today, and he still acknowledged interest rate cuts. So, the market's been feeding onto that greed narrative that's been driving risk asset demand. So we saw a slight retracement in the risk asset space today, where obviously, of course, over the past 48 hours, we saw some very interesting sell-offs take place, which we all anticipated, right? I believe last time we all talked, we were all like, man, if we see a 30% drop, we're just going to scoop up more discounted buy positions. So it's not like we weren't prepared. But that whole entire sentiment has now shifted hands. Jerome Powell delivered a more dovish tone today at his monetary policy release. He acknowledged interest rate cuts. He acknowledged that inflation was coming down, albeit it obviously hasn't met the Fed's goal of 2%. And that usually tends to fuel risk assets. And as you can see, if you go look at the dollar dropped off the face of the earth today. It declined from roughly about 104.100 all the way down to the low 103. So that's a pretty significant drop. And risk assets recovered. Very, very simple, simplistic fundamentals.
And does that correlate with the opening of the Tokyo market and the London? I mean, do you see those drops in volatility when those markets open essentially, or is it could be anywhere in between that time? Does it?
I mean, when market sessions open, yeah, there tends to be more volume and volatility at the beginning of the session because you have a whole bunch of retail participants trying to anticipate market direction before the fundamentals and the news and the juice of the session actually comes out. But the vast majority of volume and volatility in the markets come out during news events or after news events. I mean, you guys should know that by now. Fundamentals bring volume and volatility brings opportunity. So it's nothing to be shied away from. It's actually a good thing. I feel like a lot of market participants, they shy away from fundamentals and how to trade them, but they're very crucial. Like last week, for example, everybody in my team was notified not to be buying assets because the market was declining because there was a risk off market mood. And then last night, right before FOMC, we mentioned, hey, look, if Jerome Powell delivers a dovish sentiment, then risk assets are going to flip back to the upside and we're going to see some demand come back into the space. And sure enough, today, he delivered that approach. And so the market ate that up and fed on that narrative that the Federal Reserve at some point in time is going to cut interest rates, and that fueled risk assets and sold off dollar.
Nice.
You got to remember too, though, like that's all going to change in the future. Like there's going to be a point in time in the future, and I said this last call, so I don't want to feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but you know, these utility-driven assets, eventually they'll decouple from normal economic fundamentals. And when they're actually used for their utility, it's not really going to matter whether inflation is high or low, or we're in an interest rate hike cycle or a loose monetary policy stance. Like all that stuff, eventually, when day trading isn't 95% of the transactions in this market, when they're actually used for their utility, that shit's not going to matter. So right now, it really only matters if you're trying to build a portfolio and you're not trying to buy at tops. You know? If you keep buying at tops, it's probably because you don't really know technical analysis and you don't know how fundamentals affect markets, which is not a good thing. Even if you're just a dollar cost averager, you should still learn that information, in my opinion.
Agree. I totally agree.
Nice. So
guys, appreciate everybody tuning in here. I want to give it a shout out to the chat because I didn't do that earlier. We got some really.
I have a question. I have a question for Syed.
What's up, man?
This is just hypothetical. What is? Do you think that there's a chance of a default happening?
Like a debt default?
Like a dollar default?
No. No. In my personal opinion, I feel like a lot of people saying death to the dollar speak out of ignorance. I do think that the dollar is going to lose a very large, significant portion of its value. But for people to say death to the dollar, it just logically doesn't make sense. Like the United States is still going to need to have some type of sovereign domestic currency for United States citizens to transact in. So the dollar is not going to go anywhere. Not only that, but the United States holds the vast majority of the wealth in the world. Like, for example, like Los Angeles, New York, they're the financial, obviously, of course, aside from London and Tokyo, they're the financial centers and the capitals of the world. So that's not changing anytime soon, right? The businesses and the organizations that operate inside of those states and inside of those jurisdictions, they don't pay attention to all this other macro bullshit. Like, in order for the dollar to collapse, let me put it this way, there would need to be a world war. There would need to be some type of systemic collapse where everybody that's cheering for the dollar collapse, because I see a lot of influencers do that, it's not just going to affect the United States. It's going to be a global catastrophe. Like, for example, if you've studied currency depreciations and you've studied when a currency actually loses its global reserve status. For example, the last time this happened, the Great British Pound was the global reserve currency and it was replaced by the United States dollar. Well, World War II happened. So in order for the dollar to be replaced, the United States military would need to be overthrown. there would need to be civil unrest in the United States to the point where every other country loses faith in the United States because there's so much chaos going on here internally that people shy away from the dollar. Like it's not just going to be some, oh, the charts are dropping, oh, the DXY is going down. No, it would literally be catastrophic. Like people are going to die, lives are going to get lost, something massive is going to happen. It's not something to be excited about, period. Do I think let me put it this way. I think it's going to happen, but not in our business lifetime, in my personal opinion. So anybody that's in their 20s or above, right? We really only have like 20 to 30 more years of doing business. And so personally, I don't think it happens within the next 2 or 3 decades, in my personal opinion. Now, that's not to say that we enter into an interoperable era where we start transacting on digital currencies that can be interacted with the bridge currency like XRP or something, and then the dollar loses more of its value. But the collapse of the dollar ideology, like that's not happening, in my opinion. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, you are 100%. This leads to my next question. Do you think at some point in time, because we're in a liquidity crisis, that this can all lead to a reevaluation of gold? The reason why I'm mentioning this is because the U.S. debt clock keeps putting out memes talking about the Federal Reserve is going to go away, IRS is going to go away, and all this other stuff. But that's fine. You can make pictures. That's all you want. But how would that event come about? And the only way that I can personally think of is through a gold revaluation or an audit or something like that. But I would like to know, what do you think about a gold revaluation, or like something where we go back to constitutional money, gold and silver, and it gets reevaluated, and we get money issued by the Treasury, and
I think if they do it, I don't necessarily say that they reevaluate gold. Maybe they do. I think that whenever they do this, because we all know it's coming, like it's just hard to put a timestamp on it. But I think that whenever they do something catastrophic, whatever that may be, whether it's another pandemic or a cyber attack or whatever initiates this transformation, that's when they fully roll out this CBDC digital identity initiative.
Yeah.
I think that's how they do it. I have a feeling like they're touting to everybody that cash is still going to be relevant in the future. But I feel like they're just doing that not to create mass panic. Because obviously, of course, they don't want to create runs on the bank, right? If they just started announcing, hey, in the next 3 years, we're going to stop cash, everybody would freak out and start going and trying to withdraw their money and put it into crypto, whatever the fuck they would try and do, it would be catastrophic if they announced that, and they're not. But what they are doing is they're trying to tell people like, oh, don't worry, we're still going to keep cash around, even though we're going to create a digital dollar. I don't know. I don't see them keeping cash around. I just feel like it's too, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do keep cash around so they can continue to launder money off the books, but I don't know, man. It's so interesting to speculate on this stuff because we all know it's coming. It's just in which way it comes. That's the hard part,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they started reevaluating currencies and assets all over the board, because in order for this new system to be ushered in, there's going to have to be some type of structure shift.
I feel like my personal opinion is we'll copy an India type system, a UPI type system, where the Treasury issues currency, partial digital, partial physical, but the physical wouldn't be lower denominated notes. There would only be higher denominated notes, and that transition would continue to the point where you no longer need higher denominated notes because it's just simpler just to hold digital altogether. And I think that fades along with the generation. So like as the boomer generation passes away, so like right now we have a population crisis where there's more old people than there's young people, and that generation is passing away with whatever just happened to the world. So those are the people who are really sticking on to cash. But like our generation and younger, we're very adaptive, and we actually use digital money, like our credit cards or our Apple Wallet or whatever, because it's more convenient and it just makes more sense for us. So for us, adapting to a completely cashless system, it won't be a big deal. But for
So,
that group,
so hey, I got a question to cite based on Nerdy's question. If I could jump in here real quick.
go ahead.
Yeah. So Nerdy mentioned about reevaluating gold and silver, commodities. Based on all the inflation that we've experienced over the last few years, wouldn't they have to reevaluate all the currencies and reevaluate the commodities based on all the inflation that's taken place?
Well, the thing is about like, the thing is like the main thing that's driving this whole conversation is debt, right? But like, but like the debt that's issued and the debt that it's owed, it's all in dollars. So at the end of the day, it's like, do we really owe that money, and who do we really owe that money to if we're the one printing and owing?
Right, but the debt is, like you said, it's in inflation debt.
So isn't debt value though? Like when we're
Yes.
talking about all these things,
Well, it depends how you leverage it.
Cyper, let me ask this question, you Cyper, if you got a minute to answer this question that I have for you. Would you say that the debt is still value, and that it would be liquidity, whether it be negative liquidity or positive liquidity, it's still liquidity?
Yeah,
And
I
can
don't think that they're
used
gonna.
as liquidity,
I
correct?
don't think that the debt or anything like that is gonna go away, or that they're gonna like default on the debt. I think that they're just gonna digitalize it. Well, I mean, it's already digitalized, so like I feel like once they issue in this CBDC system, it'll actually be easier for them to I guess you could say, move all the trapped liquidity and money around faster, so that way there isn't these problems that we're experiencing now in the laggard financial system, if that's making sense. Once interoperability becomes a thing, and once T+0 settlement becomes a thing, it's like I don't know. I just don't see them. Maybe we do see a revaluation of assets across the board because of the debt and because of the inflation and all that stuff. But I mean, that's just normal, like, I don't know, maybe hedge against inflation, right? Higher inflation, maybe inflation spirals out of control and the dollar does depreciate in value, and that causes a massive demand for gold and silver. Who knows? I don't know. Like, all of these questions at the end of the day, it gets to a point where it's like, back to what I was saying, we all know it's coming. It's just like what way it's going to come. There's no way that we can put our finger on it, because it's going to be whatever way it does come. It's going to be insane when it happens, and we're all going to know it's going to come because it's going to be some catalyst that pushes it. It's not just going to be like, oh, the Fed's going to wake up one day and this and that. And it's going to be like a series of events that lead up to it. And the people like us in the know, we're kind of going to be a little bit more prepared. Obviously, of course, we all believe that these digital assets are going to play a massive role. I firmly believe that that's to be the case. It's just going to be interesting to see. I'd rather be a part of it all than not be a part of it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I hear you. We're hedged against these things that are coming, and the reason I asked that question is just for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how they're going to make money in this whole thing, this whole new financial system, like really make the money they're making currently now. Like, all the fractionalized lending that they're doing right now, all the Ponzi schemes that they got, all the FX debt that's not even accounted for. I mean, just crazy, wild, wild west. How is that all going to come to a close if everything is, on the blockchain? You can see everything. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Well,
it doesn't all add up.
That's why part of me feels like they're not going to get rid of cash, because the blockchain is traceable. Like Elizabeth Warren, as an example, she's like a freaking dodo brain when she says that cryptocurrencies used for illicit market purposes, like literally 0.1% of crypto transactions are used for terrorism. So, and it's because it's traceable. It's because it's transparent. It's because it can be tracked, on a level that cash can't be. So I don't know. I don't think that's why I don't think they get rid of cash.
I have a theory. So what I came to the conclusion of is they can move this money at the speed of light, this debt, aka for this example, and that's not going to cost them an overnight rate that they got to pay when they can't fulfill their obligations. They got to pull liquidity out of things. They got to pay that overnight rate, which is really high, and it's a laggard system. It takes days, to settle some of these things, and I'm sure ledger to ledger system's a little faster than like what we're doing with Swift transactions, but still there's a laggard in the system. It's expensive. They have to pay fees that are extravagant. If they have this liquidity locked up in Nostro Vostro accounts or a newer type of digital Nostro Vostro accounts, let's say AKA, some of the escrow, that would easily be able to transfer this value without all that friction and the cost. So that would save banks trillions of dollars. And on top of that, that debt could still be structured in a way where they're not paying a taxable event. And that's obviously what they do for the most part anyway. But it really kind of hit me when I started to think about it, that this is really how they're going to make money, I think, in my opinion. Not on top of course, fractionalized lending, but they're still going to continue those things. That's not going to go away. We know that. It's going to be at the speed of light now and cheaper fees for everybody. So, but that's why I wanted to bring that up, because that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's this whole direction, the way it's going. Anybody else care to
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not as talkative tonight. I got my girls. They're still out the whole time change. We're adjusting. It's still like super bright outside in California.
Oh God, yeah, I can't imagine. It takes me 2-3 days to get used to that. So, well, yeah. So I know I didn't mean to cut you off, Nerdy. You were talking. You had another thing you were saying, and then I cut you off. So apologize.
No, it's all good. What is that? ISDA. They were talking about tokenizing derivatives. So, and I think they were working with. Hold on, I'm trying to find the article if I can show you.
So we already had a country actually tokenize some of their debt already. Not beating a dead horse here, but I can't remember what country it was. But you kind of mentioned that we needed a country to really do it.
The one thing that I found, like when you go through where the new world is going, they have this new thing called climate-related financial risk. So we're going into like a climate economy. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So like,
yeah,
carbon credit trading and all that stuff is going to be a real thing.
What's up, dual citizen?
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Sorry I was late.
So
So yeah, I believe you're onto something there, Nerdy. That was the other thing I'm focusing on. Which one is going to be more carbon related to the WEF? Because that's coming. I mean, they even like mentioned that in. The Canadians are just getting outraged about the whole situation, but yet he still doubles down and still. I'm not naming names. I don't want to get my stream bombed. I don't want to put any names out there, but we all know that that's happening around the world, and some of these leaders are doubling down on these ESG. It's ESGs, if I'm not mistaken, is the terminology that we're looking for this type of green agenda. Is that right, Nerdy? Is it ESGs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
which one is going to be the most greenest? We know the Ripple is like carbon negative. And many of them are carbon negative, but
Algorand.
Yeah, Algorand.
I was working with a lot of governments. People don't really talk about that, but
Speaking of Algorand, since somebody just brought it up, so a lot of things that people aren't paying attention to is the quantum era that we are about to head into. And one of the reasons why I started heavily researching Algorand is because they are quantum resistant. Now, there's other digital assets that are seeking to become quantum resistant as well. Like Hedera Hashgraph just partnered with this one company, I believe, in January of this year. I don't remember the company name off the top of my head, but they're working on a quantum resistant application to store digital assets on, and they're partnered with Hedera Hashgraph. So that means that Hedera Hashgraph's working to become quantum resistant. And then you also have XDC, the XDC network. They're working this year as well to become quantum resistant. In the research chat in my private community, they just dropped the article about that as well. So I would suggest that you guys have, heavily do research on the digital assets that are looking to become quantum resistant, because by 2030, when these quantum computers are running the system and you have assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum that are still running on freaking, come on now. It's not hard to see which ones are most likely going to survive.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's where we were, and XX network being quantum resistant as well, and Dragon Chain. That's why we like Dragon Chain at a sub a penny. It never made sense with the Dragon Chain. We understand the SEC is still going after it, and that's an interesting thing too. Is like, why did the SEC have to go at such a random crypto like Dragon Chain? And maybe there's a big reason to it, but I'm excited for that thing to be resolved this year, hopefully in the year of the dragon. But it's been off to a good start, and yeah, quantum resistant tech is definitely the next level of, for these digital assets, and they have to be accounted for. Being ISO 222 compliant and quantum resistant is a big deal.
ISO 27001.
Yeah, that too.
SOC 1 and SOC 2 compliant, right? Some shit like that.
Yeah, if it doesn't have ISO connected to it somehow, then yeah, I don't know what to say to your crypto.
So I do believe David Swartz even alluded to their being potentially XRP being quantum compliant, and one of the only tokens that was quantum compliant would lead me to believe that XLM would be as well, and or same branch of the same technology.
Yeah.
I mean, did David even announce that? Did David work on? Does anybody know if David actually worked on any of the quantum computing himself?
No, what he was saying was, if you wanted to make your XRP ledger quantum resistant, then get a Tangent card and have it to your Zone wallet, but don't use that account to send any kind of transaction. Only use it to receive transactions, and it would be quantum resistant. Yeah, but it would have to be on a Tangent card with the backup card and all that stuff. But you would only send money to it, send zerbs to it. You wouldn't receive. You wouldn't send it out or whatever.
So Tangent's the ultimate cold wallet for XRP, then.
Basically, it's basically, yeah.
Coming from the words of the CTO.
I'm glad I got one.
Me too. That's the reason why.
Hey, I believe in having multiple guys. I'm just going to say it because I try to say it every other stream or whenever. I mean, do yourself a favor. If you're new here or you've been here for a little while and you've been here forever, don't have one wallet. Have multiple wallets. Because if Ledger has a hack or any of these freaking wallets have a hack, you better have a way of getting your stuff off of there. And you better have another option. Don't be the one guy that's in this crypto bull run that can't move his crypto and sell it or trade it or do anything because their system went down. Have multiple. I would not keep all my crypto on one ledger either. I think that's the worst thing and biggest mistake that people make. They keep all their crypto on one ledger, and then they get wrecked or they get hacked or whatever, and they lost everything. You lost your complete generational wealth. So I'm just going to say, do yourself a favor, spend a little bit of money, sell some crypto if you got to, get a couple of hardware wallets.
But I will say one thing from a technical standpoint, and as a previous network administrator, I will say that a lot of problems that do occur with ledgers and smart devices or with your whatever blockchain devices, your smart wallets or whatever, is user error. is people who click bad links or sign on to wrong accounts or are not paying it, simply just not paying attention. That's when a lot of things happen, or it's something to do with having yourself like on the exchange, right? Or it's like you really didn't have no control over it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But either or, like
It's typically a
I said-
interface issue between the
Yeah.
keyboard and the chair. Yep.
yeah, but devices themselves are secure. But it's just like it's human interaction with all everything is the problem. So at the end of the day, pay attention to what the hell you're doing, because that's a good way to lose everything. Don't rush anything. Pay attention.
And if you're not 100% sure what you're doing, don't be afraid of asking for help, because you're gonna not get wrecked that way. And make sure the help that you're asking is someone pretty qualified that's been in the space for a while and knows what they're doing and has made multiple transactions and moving things on ledgers and such. And I always do a test transaction.
Always.
I never, ever start sending large amount of crypto out doing two a minimum. I got my rules: 2 minimum small transactions and a large one. Never ever a large.
Especially if it's the first time you're going to that particular account. Even helping my aunt and uncle this weekend while I was up in Canada, we sent some XRP to their Zaman wallet we set up for them, and we did it in small transactions at first.
No, Alan,
You
gotta do it.
Getting red flags as well. And also why I'm mentioning it is because you guys are going to want to cash out soon, so you better have a couple transactions on like Uphold or Coinbase, wherever, just to keep your activity, because you're going to get red flagged. You're going to get KYC'd again. You're going to get jammed up, and you're going to be crying that you didn't do it before and you drug your feet and you can't cash anything out. So
there's two things. One thing, I forgot the first thing. Well, the second thing is that they're working on a new thing where you have to KYC before you even use the exchange. So you have to verify. You have like they're using it through check, and they're also doing it through Nexera ID. And I think IOTA is also working on this, and Ripple also has this on their consensus too. Is to verify the user through KYC even before even interacting with an exchange, swap or whatever. That's happening and that's coming. So like right now,
it sure is.
Yeah, so like right now, how we use the exchange and how we just connect with the MetaMask, and it's like free nilly willy. It's like whatever address or whatever you're just creating accounts or whatever. That's not gonna happen in the future. It's gonna be like every single account that you make on whatever network will always be tied to you, and then wherever you're gonna have a digital footprint, no matter where you go.
Right.
That's coming, and that eventually down the road will be tied into a social credit score. I mean, it's just inevitable.
Well, I think Alan's absolutely right. You got to have multiple wallets. Make sure you're KYC. Make sure you stay active. Because I have a Uphold account that I haven't used in probably a year, so I'm probably gonna have to re-KYC, and so I'm gonna need to do that. On Coinbase, I'm cool because I've done transactions, moved stuff around, and that seems to be okay. But like my BitSure account, I'm actually scared about, because when I initially got in, I KYC'd, but I don't think I used the VPN.
Oh no!
So I got to figure out. I don't have a lot on there, but it's it's enough to be concerned.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about doing certain transactions on certain exchanges, but yeah, you're right. Everybody's KYC, and they're even KYCing on YouTube now, just to like go from like if you have you're being a lot of the creators, you're gonna have multiple accounts. You're gonna have one for your personal, one for streaming,
like business or whatever. Yeah,
just literally transforming from one platform to the next, or you gotta verify your identity. I have a UB key, and that's probably what I recommend for anybody that does a lot of streaming and multiple accounts and email and stuff like that. I would suggest getting a UB key. If you're a creator or you're doing multiple things, I would suggest getting one of those for your own safety and security. So,
I
but
got
yeah,
one.
this is
But
Go
also, YubiKey, you need 2 of them.
yes,
You can't get one. You need 2 of them.
yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Nerdy.
No, you legit need 2 of them.
Yeah.
Wait, explain that. Explain why you need two.
You need one to back up the other. We need one, so one is like a
Mm.
backup key to the first one.
Redundancies.
Yeah.
That is ideal.
That's
When
the
I
thing
ever
messed up,
get,
'cause I bought one and then I was setting it up with my iPhone, and then it said that you need another one to back it up, and I was like, "What? You need another one?" So yeah, when you buy them, buy 2. You need 2 of them.
They
yeah,
trying to get their sales up. They trying to get their sales up.
Well, it's just like security, right? So like,
No,
so
I
like,
know.
it's-
so like
yeah.
the second one you don't carry with you. You keep as a backup, but the first one you can carry with you. It's fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
these are all the things that we're gonna have to be paying attention to more and more as we get closer to you
Yeah.
know, being generational wealthy, a lot of us. And you know, I wanted to bring a few of these things up because a lot of people get complacent, myself included. Don't think that
Now-
I don't get complacent. I don't even know where my YubiKey is right now, and I've been talking about it tonight because I got to look for it and find it. Because if I get
Hey, Alan.
locked out of an
Alan.
exchange,
No, I was gonna say, self custody is a bitch, but it's so worth it. It's gonna be so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. It's not for everyone. Like even just helping my aunt and uncle this weekend and some of my family. It's like I realize now like why we're gonna be rich. The people that took the time to learn this technology, because nobody wants to do this stuff. They're like, I have to what?
Right.
Can't I just leave it on BitBuy? My aunt and uncle, they tried to transfer just a small amount of their XRP off of BitBuy, and they got flagged, and it said reach out to the support for whatever reason. I don't know if they didn't fully KYC or what have you, but it's like their XRP is stuck on BitBuy right now, and they're struggling to figure out what's going on. Well, what happens if BitBuy goes bye-bye?
Yeah.
No, hey, Snipe,
Huh.
you know what's so crazy? Is that the barrier to entry for us is learning the technology, but the barrier to entry, that was interesting. I'll tell you that story. The barrier to entry back in the early 1900s, if you had bearer bonds or stock certificates, was owning a safe. But the cost of a safe was like a mortgage payment
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in the
yeah.
early 1900s.
Can't you just put
I'm
it on
sorry.
your mattress?
I know, right? I'm sorry. I just saw a Toyota Corolla. I'm outside, so I can talk to you because in my car I get a little better acoustics. I just saw a late model Toyota Corolla with license plate readers on the trunk, driving through, apparently looking for cars where they hadn't paid their car notes, so the repo man could come get them. That's a telltale sign of where
Hey.
we're going.
Sean,
Dude,
on
there-
that,
Mhm.
we had a car. It was like an old Ford with
Yeah.
like sensors around all over it, and it was doing the
Yep.
same thing that you just said. But it was
Yeah.
but it was going through the apartment complex, scanning everyone's license plate, bro.
Scalpers.
No,
Wow.
that's
Crazy
insane.
shit. Yeah, I've seen that
And
shit
that
too.
just tells you
genius.
That tells you where the economy's going.
Yeah.
When you got stealth people driving around, and I can't lie, I live in a pretty decent neighborhood, but obviously there's some people that are going through some issues. And so that car just drove down my street looking for reading license plates to get a red flag so they can call the repo truck that's probably a mile away to come pick it up.
Wow.
That's insane.
There
And
are
it's a Toyota Corolla.
we're facing 10 million repos right now.
Yes.
That I heard.
It's
So
gonna be
that's just
crazy.
that's just in the car market. So that's why I've been want to talk a lot about these things tonight, and where's the liquidity going to come from if we're going to have a serious bull market like we're talking about? We got to have some major money moving in this, and I don't know, man.
It's not
where's
for
the
retail.
retail? That's what I mean. They don't have it, so
No,
it's
they
got to
don't.
be coming from large players in the space getting ready to take it all over, buy it all up. I mean, I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time because they got time. They can slow roll this thing out as long as they want. That's why they're going to throw these Hail Mary bombs of, white swans,
Well,
black swans, and all the above. You know, so
well, Alan, I'm going to tell you guys this right now, and I noticed this from in the year 2000, into 2000, there was actually a recession. It didn't get talked about much. President Bush hadn't gotten to office yet, but then in early 2001, the recession was there. It wasn't apparent in like the housing market, but in the car market, it hit. And there was a period where nobody was selling cars and repos went up. And then in 2006, before the actual big recession of 2007 and 8, car market got hit again. And one of the dealerships I was going to work with, they went from having like, I don't know, let's call it $50,000-$60,000 in repos outstanding that need to be picked up. Excuse me, it spiraled up to $2.5 million within a couple of months. And they had to work that deal out while the housing market had crashed, the car market had to recover. And so that's 2006-7. And then it hit again in 2013-ish. And now I'm starting to see it again now in the car market, because one of the auction houses that I drive by when I'm working, their lot is slap full of cars. And normally it's only half full for years.
Yep.
And if they're full, that means no, they're not selling cars. If they're not selling cars, that means the independent dealerships and the dealerships that sell used cars aren't buying them. So there's a liquidity freeze, if you will. That's happening right now as we speak. So that's crazy.
I'm first witness of that back in 2008. I was in the car industry back then, and it was the most devastating thing that I've seen. I literally had customers coming in that had an 800 beacon score, wanted to buy a car all day long, could not buy it. 800 beacon score. Unless you had the minimum down payment of your taxes, tag, dealer fee, all that up front, and they were only financing 100% of the car, not all the taxes, tags, and fees, they will not give you a loan. Literally, I had to tell dozens of people.
Yeah, because before that, you could finance 120%.
And you're talking about cars on the side of the road and or in lots and stuff. The auction was so packed in Orlando auction that they literally had 5 city blocks. Any parking lot were rented out to hold the cars that didn't go through the auction, and that was on a weekly basis. They were shipping cars over to my area here, an hour away, to store them, to store up the cars that were trying to run through the auction. It was crazy. I never seen anything like it in my entire life, and that was just cars. I knew a friend that was making a killing on the heavy industrialized equipment when they're going through their auctions, selling buses and tractors and just making a fortune. So good thing is coming for us that, you know, in the event that this does repeat itself, we are going to have the most amazing time to buy the things that we want as cheap as we possibly, you know, could get them at. It's going to be very, very exciting, but depressing at the same time. I'm looking forward to the opportunities, but I'm really not looking forward to the families that are going to be wiped out at the same time. So I think that's why a lot of us smart individuals are here in this place, and I do believe a lot of us are going to do good things. So I'm really more focused and excited about that than anything right now. So where this is actually going to go. So, didn't mean to cut you off there, Sean. And Diamond Hands, how you doing, buddy? We haven't heard from you.
I'm gonna cause havoc in the world. I'm gonna be a menace. I'm gonna be the Joker. No, I was kidding.
Okay, hey, Alan. Yeah, I was just saying, no, you're right about, you know, the lack of sales. And, you know, I was talking to one of my guys. Actually, he's independent, but I actually hired him like literally 20 years ago. And one of the dealerships he was working at, they just closed down, just out of the blue. And, you know, we're like scrounging around trying to get new accounts. And a lot of the dealerships, they don't want to, the new car stores, they don't want to have third-party vendors as detailers because they're looking at it as a liability instead of an asset on the books. And I'm like, we had this long conversation. I'm like, when we do what we do, we're like the third arm that helps the car get sold because appearance is, and this is according to like Ford Motor Company and General Motors, GMAC, is that, when you do what's called a CSI score, one of the questions is how is the appearance of your car to the customer? One of only 5 questions, so 20% of the sale is how did the car look when you took possession of it? 20%. And so I learned that early on, but a lot of these dealerships are like trying to cut corners, and it's like, dude, you're not going to get where you need to be if you can't have a competent team, whether they're in-house or third-party vendors, that can make the car look right. So you, the customer, Alan, is like, hey, I really like the way this looks. I'm going to go ahead and take delivery. It's key to actual sales of anything. But go ahead.
Right on. Yeah, it's going to get pretty interesting here in the next 6 to 12 months, I believe. I think things are going to start happening about that time frame.
I hope so.
I know you got to go soon, man. If you got anything else left to share, please feel free to drop a little nuggets that you got. I know you got to go. You got your daughters and such. If you're still there, you just chime in anytime. And Diamond Hands, I know you got a couple things you wanted to probably say. We got caught off a little bit. If you want to share a little bit. And Dual Citizen, thank you also for coming on as well. Thank you everybody for being here in the stream tonight. We're right at about an hour, so maybe go for another 30 minutes or so, and try to keep it around an hour to an hour and a half on my stream because I've got family I keep up every time it's on the East Coast time here. But Sype, you got anything else you want to add before you have to drop out?
No, I appreciate you guys for having me. I know it wasn't too talkative tonight. I just became recently a full-time dad, so I've always got my hands full in the afternoon. It's not like I'm a new dad. I never had my daughters full time until recently, so it's been interesting to adjust. But I appreciate you guys for having me, and I look forward to talking to more of you guys soon.
Yeah, man, go be a dad, bro. Go be a dad.
Oh yeah,
Good seeing you, man.
You guys
good talking
take
to
it
you,
easy.
Sype.
Thank you as always, my friend. And those of you that don't know Cypher X Trading, I have vetted him. I trust him with my skills that I'm learning. I sought out a lot of people, and it's been years. I never followed anybody. A few of the YouTubers, but he's solid, and you guys will pick up a lot from him. That those that don't know who he is, I would follow his channel, and all the links for all the people that are on the stream tonight are in the description below. Please like their videos and subscribe to their channels. If you like their content, you're going to get a lot of value. I would not bring on anybody on the stream that did not have value to the community and are like-minded, and will bring you to the next level. That's this stream is all about that. I wanted to make this stream a platform for the major YouTubers in the stream that have all the knowledge to bring to you guys, the community, and all come together and collaborate and just bring a tremendous value. And they do. These guys all here bring a tremendous amount of value, and I could not do this show without them. I love all the different perspectives that they all bring and the level of just intelligence that they all have and share with each one of you guys here. And shout out to the community here. All you guys, I've known most of you in this stream that I'm watching right now in the chat for years. And I thank you very much for coming on and giving me your time as well. And you guys shout out a lot of information in the chat, and we all get that as well. It's wonderful how the chat and the YouTubers all kind of just learn from each other. So it's amazing. So shout out to you guys as well. Dual, you had something. I go ahead. Sean.
No, I was gonna say, I didn't know if you were shutting it down or not. But before I let Dual go, but before all I wanted to say is to Nerdy. You know how we talk about some of the dystopian stuff, Agenda 2021, Agenda
yeah.
2030, et cetera, et cetera.
Hell
I
yeah.
got a movie for you to go watch, and it
What is
will
it?
free. I
I'll watch
just
it right
watched it
now.
again tonight.
What is it?
It's called Demolition Man.
I've seen that movie. That movie's good.
No,
You
no,
gotta
no,
watch it again though, nerdy. Seriously, I
Yeah,
need to too. My
watch
friend
it.
was telling me. Yeah,
Don't
it's
paint
serious.
your hair blonde.
Dude, when you watch it again, pay attention to every date that you see in the movie, and it will freak you out.
All right, I'll watch it again just because you mentioned it.
Yeah, nerdy. Let's
I-
do that.
I
Watch
have-
it tonight.
Can I
Watch
share
party.
something, Alan?
Say that again, nerdy.
Can I share something?
Say it again.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
don't have to. I got about another 30 minutes, guys. I just want to give
Okay.
you a heads up. We try to, if the sentiment is low and we don't have a lot to share, then I try to keep it about an hour. But if we got a lot to share, I'm here for you guys.
Okay.
for-
So what this is about basically, this is from the BIS, and what they're talking about is that their T+0 is basically already here through crypto assets, and then if they don't transition fast enough to T+0, then they're gonna in the future they can see less liquidity in the stock market and more liquidity in other markets because of T+0 being available in other markets and not the stock market, basically.
Nice.
So share that. But that's basically what she's gonna say, but she's gonna say it in her own words so you can see it for yourself.
Yeah, got to keep a big eye on the BIS for sure.
Big dicks.
Okay, dual
Share it.
citizen.
What do you guys want? You want me to talk for a
Dual
second?
citizen, you there?
Get up in there.
Huh?
Screen.
Right. So the reason I was late was I was at a
Yeah, why were you late, Artie?
we saw at a bar tonight doing trivia, and our
Mhm.
team name was Zerps, and we didn't
my
do very well. Let's just put it that way. And
Just
afterwards, there was a
Zerps.
table of like 6 people next to us that just smoked us. And afterwards, they're like, "Man, you guys did really bad." And I said, "You know what? I'm
Our
gonna
name is
be." I'm gonna be the smartest. I'm gonna be the dumbest multi-billionaire ever on the face of this planet. And the guy's like, "What?" And I was like, "See our name? See my hat? See the name on the back of my jacket?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "Dude, you have no idea." It was fun.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. I
That's
love that you
awesome.
go out there with that and like, dude, I'll go out with my XRP hat and nobody knows. Nobody
No,
knows.
And
Like,
I
they're-
shared with them. I did try to help them too. I wasn't just like being a dick and bragging, but I
I
talked
just
to them.
subliminally
Yeah.
put it out there. You know.
Hey,
So-
my tennis India. And she
Huh?
So this
Sorry.
that was weird. That wasn't my
Somebody
wife.
was staring.
So
No, that was a video.
That wasn't my
No.
mic.
Oh.
so
Dual,
so
real
this
quick.
woman. Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah. Now, what I was gonna say is, in the movie Demolition Man, did you see at the very beginning of the movie what year it started?
I haven't seen it in forever. That's why I need. But
What
somebody
year?
needs
Say
to
it.
rewatch it.
The movie starts in the year 1996, which is just a few years after The Economist magazine did the 1987 article.
That's right.
Then
Mhm.
the bad guy, the protagonist and the antagonist get frozen in time, and then they're released. But the year is 2032. And then as I'm watching the movie, they're like, yeah, everything's been super
Oh,
sweet
wow.
here in this California city for a couple of years, which lines up with Agenda 2030. And then it's all these, it's a cashless society, autonomous electric vehicles.
Everywhere.
Everything is exactly what some of the things we
Everywhere.
talk about. But
Taco
the underground
Bell.
people are eating not cow burgers, but rat burgers. And there's a Chevelle 442 underground. So the dichotomy of what's going on the surface versus what's going on underground, it's like, holy shit, this is so dystopian. And I remember when I first watched the movie, but after studying all the WE, stuff, and
Right.
all the other things we talk about based on crypto and decentralization and the technology, I'm like, holy crap, this movie literally mirrors the stuff we've been talking about for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a big deal
Amen.
movie.
It's coming. All right.
That's
I'm
what
gonna-
I was saying to check it out. But go ahead.
All right.
Whoever's next.
Just listen to this lady. I'm just gonna play this real quick. Just listen to this lady.
Yeah, so I won't comment for very long, given that we're nearly out of time for this seminar, but maybe to just observe that this question on T+0, I heard recently an interesting perspective I found by the chairman of the SEBI, which you also had on your site, Tennis India, and she gave the viewpoint that India should move to T+0 in her view, because the new generation is going to get used to these tokenized assets, and currently these are crypto assets, which are all instantly settled. And she said that her perspective, her viewpoint was, or the risk that she perceives, is that there will be less liquidity in the stock markets in the future if you fast forward 20 years, if this new generation is used to see instant settlement elsewhere. So that was a way of thinking, thought that actually hadn't occurred in my mind. I know there is the permanent quest to T+0, but what we have to realize is that T+0 is already here to a certain extent today in the form of these crypto assets and tokenized assets, which I think Georg can comment on. So the question of how the expectation of the markets will evolve towards T+0 is important.
Boom.
Nice.
Yeah,
nerdy.
it's coming. I mean, it's coming. Every
Yeah.
time I go and I make some type of payment or something, and I get that little notice that says settlement in 1 to 3 days, I keep thinking to myself, man, we're so early. Recently, I think I shared you guys that I took
We're
out that
so
down
early,
payment
dude.
for the car. And when I tried to withdraw the money from Coinbase, it wanted to charge me $213 to withdraw $12,000 and have it settle instantly. And I'm so, wait a second, you've got the technology to allow it to settle instantly, but you're going to charge me $213 for that? And then it said if I don't do the fee and I just use a normal ACH transfer, that it would settle in 1 to 3 business days. And the money was still there the next morning. Like it's like people who are dumb enough to just say, yeah, I'll pay the extra, get screwed, even though it doesn't take as long as they say it's going to anymore. It's super weird. So I obviously didn't pay the $213 because I'm cheap. So, and it was there. It said it was kind of being held at least, but it was there the next day, which is super weird. But anyway.
So Uphold is, I want anybody who can answer this question. I want to know how Uphold is actually doing instant transfers and actually getting into your account. They got to be using like
your debit card,
some type of
XRP.
but they got to take a crypto. It's got to be. How you get atomic settlement into your bank account?
They could be using FedNow service.
Coinbase does it too.
Oh, okay,
they charge a fee though, right? Coinbase charged a fee.
Yeah, and so does Uphold. What are they using though? They get
a lot of the instant settlements and all these things. It's all just FedNow service. Because that's what FedNow is. It's
Finastra, which is what Ripple, right?
What FedNow is that it posts the payment. Well, like it shows you the payment. It posts the payment and it clears the payment simultaneously, instantly, just like Zelle. Yeah, exactly, just like Zelle. Same shit. But that's all part of the FedNow ecosystem.
So you think it's running on XLM? We're speculating here, everybody. Just so you know,
I don't think it's running on any crypto chain at all.
Nope.
No, yeah, it's not running on these centralized exchanges. Don't even know. Like Uphold's got to get their crap together, man. That's all I got to say.
Well, how are they able to do an instant settlement like that though? I mean,
yeah,
you got to be able. If it's a cross border, hold on, let's hear me out. This is Uphold, so it's cross border, which would have to use the SWIFT system. If you're not using SWIFT, you're using crypto, and if you're using a crypto that has to do atomic settlement, because we're talking 1 day, right?
Yeah, it's XRP.
Uphold payments and everything gets posted from New York. If you ever look at the thing, it's all from.
And
New
like
York.
Marvin Davis said, Ripple is a partner of Uphold.
Okay, that answers my question. Thanks, Nerdy. Yeah, that makes sense because it's coming from New York, so it's bank to bank. It's ACH then. It's essentially that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's still using ACH.
So if China is a cashless society, What are they using?
Good question.
They're just using their own version of that, probably.
Well, China is like the playground for test missile sites for America. It started with a vaccine and many other things, but they have their carbon credit, which we're going to start getting, and they're cashless, which we're going to start getting. So they're practicing. What are they using? What's the protocol for them guys?
Yeah.
They got to be using a crypto because they're not using the financial system. They are no longer using Nostro Vostro accounts. So, I mean, they've been sanctioned for many years. So they have to be using some other type of form of currency. I mean, we know that they've tokenized gold in the past too with Ripple XRP back in 2016. So I'm curious, are they really using it on the private ledger at this point in time and have the agreement that they're going to switch it on to the public ledger once the initial reset ends up happening and the whole financial system goes online? I'm real curious. I would just love to find this information out. It's out there. We know the information's out there because they're using it. How to get it is the question. I would love for someone to find out. So
there's a YouTube channel. There is a YouTube video on Uphold's channel that talks about this. It came out 3 months ago. I doubt that they explain how they're doing it, but it's definitely through ACH transfers and or linking directly to your debit card. But as to what technology they're using, I'm not sure if they mentioned it in this video, but it's only 32 seconds long. I might watch it later, but I'll link it in the chat.
Yeah, I know where they're using WeChat. I mean, I think we've all known that, but what are they clearing it with? What atomic settlement are they using? They got to be using some type of crypto. And I don't know, maybe that's part of the NDA that Ripple has, so many that they do have, is with all these countries. I mean, so there's 200 countries. So there's 200 of the NDAs right there. There could be different, all the banks in those countries. Those could be another, several hundred right there. So I'm really interested how this is all going to play out, but I see China pushing the narrative though, and Japan with their collapse recently. Why would they've been talking? I mean, Satoshi Katao is like, what he owns, like 3% of the XRP, the holdings.
It was
so
always
what's that?
It was always Stronghold. Stronghold was always the chosen one.
Yeah.
Right.
SH checks.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting how long those two are gonna wait to actually do something, because
I know what China's using.
SHX.
They're using Velo. Ooh, no. I was messing with you.
Oh, Velo, yeah, the Ripple of Asia. Even though wasn't Brad Garlinghouse in Korea talking to Korean press about XRP being a world reserve currency? So can't Ripple be the Ripple of the world?
Everyone's gonna use Stellar, bro. Stellar has so many government connections. It's crazy.
Yeah, Stellar's the silent killer for sure. Nobody's expecting anything out of Stellar.
No one's gonna expect Stellar, and Stellar's gonna be like a 10 billion% gain. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, dude. Cosmos, Solana, and Stellar are gonna kill it. Those three all together.
Yeah,
they're gonna be fantastic.
I'm really curious to how much longer we're gonna not see, today or not. Well, 2 days ago, Brad had that lanyard of Stellar on his neck. Was that actually real? Does anybody know for solid? I mean, I think it is, but I mean, it could have been a deep fake. But we saw Baird. What's that guy's name?
Right.
Liam Baird. Is that?
Yeah.
Stellar's the silent ghost, bro. Stellar has been the silent chosen ghost the whole time.
Yeah. So we've seen. I think we're starting to see these partnerships are actually coming out in public. Oh, hey, we are actually doing these things together. So I mean,
I'm excited for HBAR and XRPL to announce something. That's going to be great.
That would be awesome.
They were already using it. Brad Garlinghouse said, and we were he's talking to Lehman Beard, and he said that they were talking about ways that they could work together. So that already sounds like there's something in the making there. with HBAR, Algorand, and XRPL. They all have black and white logos.
Four horse.
HBAR and Hedera are working for the DREC for the wallet recovery thingy. So all institutions are probably going to offer that service.
Yeah. So the new clawback you're talking about, Nerdy, the DREC?
No. This is a whole different service. This has nothing to do with the DREC. This is basically like account recovery. So if you lose your keys, so basically, you know how like what Uphold was doing with their vault?
Yeah,
it's the same shit. That's basically what that is. It's the same concept. Where it's like you verify one key and then your identity, your driver license, all that, and then you get the rest of the keys, and then you can recover your account, basically.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about those sharding technologies. I'm with Dole, and like I think we all that own our own crypto and have it on private ledgers and stuff. I mean, that is our freedom. That to me, that's the only freedom that I've really truly ever had.
Yeah, but you have to like think about mass adoption. In order to have mass adoption, people trust institutions, and people. A lot of people won't even agree to a financial anything if it's not offered from a financial institution.
Yeah, they're going to use the technology that their institutions give them, or it's going to be a digital wallet or ID on their phone.
Whatever they provide,
they're not even going to know what the technology is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they're just going to follow the prompt and disagree to everything and be like, "Oh, look what I have now. I have this service available."
As they sign away the life of their firstborn child and they're sold to the devil. Like, yeah, it's like we should probably read the contracts going forward. Just saying.
That's right. It's the ultimate freedom, and we're not. I mean, essentially part of the, control mechanism that we know is eventually going to come. I mean, it's happened around the world, but we won't be a part of that system because we are grandfathered in. We have, our own private keys. But yes, they're going to make it so easy that they're just going to turn your phone number onto a wallet. I mean, your phone number is essentially going to be your wallet or your email address. You're doing that now with Zelle, so I don't see it being any more painful than that. It's just going to be like a switch. They're going to send you a text message.
One reason why a lot of the things I say is like very dystopian, or like it might seem dystopian, is because like if you look at like a lot of crypto connections, a lot of the shit connects to China, right? And a lot of like a lot of private companies are working with China, like a lot of China alliances and stuff like that. So it's like, in order for like this whole interoperability to happen, each sector, like each region, will have their chosen networks, right? And those networks will have their chosen coins or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're all going to work together, and it's all going to be interoperable together as a whole unit, like as a globe, like as a whole unit. Like globalism is coming about. Like this is how it happens. It's through blockchain.
Yeah, that's why I've always invested in it, because I saw like, what is this technology that's going to make this global economy work? It makes sense. And hopefully we've picked a few bags of ones that make it.
Yeah, and like when I see the shit that's happening in China, like with the whole like how they're completely monitored and all this stuff, like, and then you see who's being sworn in office behind people's backs or behind closed doors or whatever, in California, in different states, in Ohio, whatever state you want to call it. There's so much corruption going on within the state, within the country itself. So how can anyone say that, I mean, look at Fang Fang and all the other shit that happened with that situation. Right, and then you have all the treasonous stuff that's coming out with Australia. They're connected directly to China. Everything that's connected to Trudeau through Canada, that's connected directly to China. Like, China has such a big grip, and they've been planning like through 1,000 cuts to take over the world. At this point in time, it's like, what makes you think they're not going to use blockchain and all this thing to like take over?
Ray Dalio he does that presentation where he says China is the next superpower.
It is, bro. Like, look at what's happening. I mean, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but it's like, if you look at trends and shit, like I watched that thing that you're talking about, Mel, about the patterns. I think before it was Britain first, and then United States for a while, and then it's gonna go back to China, something like that, right?
Right.
And there was like oh, it can compete with India, but like it's not gonna be India, it's gonna be China, because look at what's happening. Like the connections are so deep, bro, and that's why I'm saying, like, if that whole dystopian infrastructure is happening in China, what makes you think that dystopian infrastructure won't happen here? And the people that are in power or are being sworn into power won't vote for the same things that happen here. I'm just saying. I'm just being realistic.
On that subject, I count myself very fortunate to be in a position in the future to where we are the ones that are going to be influencing those changes in society, because money moves markets, and money moves people and influence. And most of us here don't want a crazy world. We want a future for our children, and we're trying to create a generational wealth so we can provide for sane people that make sane, logical decisions that don't harm others and put themselves before everybody else. So things like this, I do believe that's why we're all a collective and been brought together in a place like this, and are very far advanced compared to the rest of modern day society, because how very little bit of people that there are in this space that are in this position of being very financially set in the future is no certain coincidence. So taking that with a go ahead.
There's just like a few things of power where it's like it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, whatever it is. It's just whenever you're in power of something, there's a few ways that anyone who is empowered falls. And the main thing that makes someone that's powerful fall is ignorance, is when they get too comfortable, where they think that nothing can tear me down or nothing's going to tear me down, and then they abuse that power. And that's exactly what the United States did, right? They said nothing can tear us down. We have military everywhere. We have the strongest army, whatever, right? And then we have the dollar, so nothing can tear the dollar down, whatever. But however the country's being teared down today, is happening from within. Everything's happening from within. Dollars are being printed, money is being sent, whatever. That's all happening from within our own politicians who are signing these bullshit ass bills, passing all this money and getting everything printed out, right? And we have all these people that are being signed into office and getting all these positions that are being taken up by foreign people. You have like all these foreign people that are not going to be part of our military. I mean, like that's like we're literally being taken over straight Trojan horse way, like straight up, right? That's exactly what's happening. It's a takeover. But everyone is so ignorant to think, or is just so stuck on this idea that America can never go down. America will never go down. America will always be in power. The dollar will always be in power. This will always be what it is, and this will never change. But didn't the Egyptians think the same shit? Didn't the Romans think the same shit? Didn't a lot of dynasties before that think the exact same shit?
Yeah.
And what happened? They don't fucking crumble. Crumbled down and fell. It's because of the people, right? It all happened from within. Everything. If you look at it, it doesn't matter what you look at. Any industry, in any company, any time period or whatever, any empire that fell from within, and that's exactly what's happening today. Is people have lost trust, right? People found blockchain. People are moving from their own monetary system, moving from the dollar and everything, and trusting with blockchain. And now companies themselves, banks themselves, realize that their whole business model is at risk, that they need to become fintechs. They need to become tech companies, because it's the technology itself that they can't compete with, right? So at the end of the day, in order for and that's why I keep getting at this main point, in order for robots to get paid or for micropayments to happen, you need blockchain. So at some point in time, whether a takeover happens or whatever happens, who knows what the hell is going to happen? Whenever regulations come into play, that's going to be a takeover type event where something's going to fall or something's going to remain, but something drastically is going to change. But no matter what it is, blockchain is going to be used regardless.
to level the playing field, right?
Level
To
the playing
make
field,
the
regardless.
bank the unbanked. I don't necessarily think, though, that the United States has to fall. Yes, the US dollar will lose its global reserve currency status, but they won't need a reserve currency.
Yeah.
Everything will be interoperable, right? So things will just flow over the
Agnostic.
chain. Yeah, and it needs to be, and we're thinking that's obviously going to be the XRPL, and because it's agnostic and decentralized, but I don't necessarily think that during this transition that the US has to like fully go like full Rome, or it doesn't have to
Yeah.
completely go that route. I don't necessarily even think that we need to be taken over by China.
No.
I just think that
Well-
this levels the playing field,
Yeah.
and now the rest of the world can live like like they've all wanted to live,
Well,
like the U.S. has
and-
been living. For
yeah.
the
Well,
last-
go ahead, G. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. These currency wars need to stop, right?
Mhm.
And the way it's going to stop is them all connecting together through Interledger and RippleNet.
Amen.
Yeah. So
What I was gonna say is that global power itself is dictated by global trade. The country that has the currency that's being used for global trade, or the country that's exporting or making goods that's giving other people goods, is being marked as the king. In those situations, you had the dollar that was being forced using everyone's current to force everyone to trade in dollars because of oil. That now has been shifted. Before that, we were importing everything from China. A lot of our goods and everything said made in China, right? So China was developing things. They're the leader of making everything cheap. Okay. Now China, that same country, is now saying you no longer need to trade in dollars because we're gonna buy that same oil that was being spent in dollars is now being traded in yuan. That's backed by gold. That's a global power shift that I don't get why people are just denying that that's not happening, but that is happening. Like, this is real,
right.
And then other countries, neighboring countries like Africa, and then you have Saudis and all those people. Then you have India, and then like all of Asia, right, basically, that are all combining forces and saying, yeah, we agree with you. We like this. We'd rather use our native currency to trade rather than dollars because we hate the sanctions. They make no sense. Better yet, why are we even doing business with them? We could just do our whole business on our own continent. Fuck them. That's exactly what's happening, right?
Yeah. Yep. You got countries completely saying that they're going to go back to gold too. I mean, you have several countries. You have all the central banks that have been buying up the biggest amounts of gold ever in history in literally the last 36 months. It's crazy. So that, going all the way full circle back to what you're saying and like currency reset. Yeah. The Bible even says that the United States is still going to be pretty much a sovereign nation. We just aren't going to have the status that we have now. There's going to be a breaking away. I could get in a whole subject on that and tell you a little bit more about it. That'd be another stream. But I can definitely tell you with 100% certainty that the United States will still be around. I don't believe it'll be the superpower that we are now, though. I believe there'll be more of a mild down situation after a big war. And essentially that will
Hey guys, I got to be dipping on out, but much love to y'all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Shout out to Crypto Navigator. Peace out. See you, nerdy.
Right on, G.
Diamond Hands. DJ.
See you on your next stream.
DLC.
The other scenario is what happened if well, we know Trump's going to win the election at this point. He won, basically.
Bad orange man coming back.
It's over at this point, right? What happened if he joins BRICS?
That's by design.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know. Because he hates NATO.
Nah, I don't see that either.
What would? Okay, so now that you said that, let me just add something to that. So the United Nations, okay? So we can really get biblical now. So the United States is not going to join the 13 nations that are going to come in the end times. And the United Nations is going to be all a part of that. We're going to break away from the United Nations, in my opinion. We're going to be more of a sovereign country by itself. We're not going to be the bully. We're not going to be the the cheerleader either and the repairman for the rest of the world. We are not going to be that nation anymore, I believe. We're not going to have the funding, I don't think. I think we're going to be great as a country on ourselves, and producing the amount of commodities and resources that we have. We're going to be just great on our own. We have plenty of gold. When we tokenize everything and go back to tokenizing things, we're going to be just fine. I just don't think we're going to be that superpower that everybody needs us to really be.
We need to
because
we
need
can't
to
fight
be-
wars with purple hair.
Yeah.
this is why I think this is
Yeah.
why the yellow man and who else comes into power eventually will bring the nation to where we are back to producing our own goods and services. We're healed as a nation as far as just birthing everything overseas. We don't need to do that. We didn't need to do that from the beginning. We needed to make things cheaper and more efficient, but now we have things that can make that happen. And a lot of things are going to go away anyway. So what we produce here in America will, I think, prevail.
I want to know your take on this, Alan. What do you think about so you're basically saying the same thing about the whole narrative, what we kind of know where this is probably going to go, where it's Crown Corporation dies and everyone, basically every other country becomes a constitutional part of the constitutional republic. Right, and basically everyone becomes sovereign to their own degree, and every country just basically takes care of themselves. And we just stop. We stop taking. Everyone starts exploiting everyone's resources, and we actually start trading those resources.
There will be 13 nations that come together.
Prosperity across everybody. Because if you want to solve immigration, you fix the native country of origin that's having the problem. That's in the economic trouble. Like you can't migrate a bunch of people into a country that's doing good and expect the country to do good. The country can only do good based upon the amount of people that are living on that land and that's doing within that system. You can't just massively just expand a system like that without having a supporting infrastructure to supply whatever job.
Ooh, I agree with that 100%. 100%.
So you're saying that since we have so much mass immigration and things like that coming over the border and all the 10 million additional bodies on the soil, that's what you're saying?
Have you seen the documentary called Economic Hitman? Economic Hitman is basically that's what they do. They pull one or two different strings within stock markets or make one or two different decisions within an economy that would completely collapse it completely, and then that's how they take over nations.
No, that's what happened in Europe. That's what happened in Europe 10 years ago. You're talking about Paris, France, and UK, to a certain extent Italy, to a certain extent Spain, when a lot of people came over from the north coast of Africa.
Yeah. But the shit that I'm talking about, I know that like to a lot of people they won't agree with it, or they'll be like, "Oh, he's crazy. How can he say that shit?" But it's like a lot of the things that I've come across, or like I've seen, or I've researched, or like whatever document, whatever you want to say, it's the proof that I've seen made me realize that the world isn't as clean as people think it is, and everything is so just orchestrated. And the powers that be is the power that be, and in order to destroy that power structure, it's gonna be through chaos. It's not like it's not gonna be through elections.
Right, and that's why I wanted you, Nerdy, to watch that movie Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, because it depicts the aftermath of what the elitist crowd wants to see after it's all done. Yeah. And that's why the year 2032 was so, it made me freeze, because that's everything that you're talking about, like literally everything. It's in that movie, and that movie I think was made in like 96, 95.
Yeah. I think
that's 95. How long ago it was made. Which means that the movie was actually started in 93, 92 from its inception, writing the script, getting the actors.
It was 93 actually, so I just Googled it.
Yeah,
93.
Okay. So that means it started even before then.
90, like 91.
So now you're talking about the Economist magazine in 1987 with the Phoenix rising out of the ashes.
Yeah.
The Economist magazine.
But it's like, okay, you see magazine covers like that shit, and then you see things like the U.S. dead clock post. How can one know things like that without orchestrating something?
That's my whole point. Basically what you said is
You
it's
get what I'm
all
saying?
orchestrated.
Like,
It's
how
all
can-
Yeah, they
orchestrated.
plan these things out centuries, like decades in advance, and
Decades
we don't
ago.
even know what we're gonna eat for lunch tomorrow. So
Like-
you know, it's like, I mean, we stand
Exactly.
no chance, dude, no chance.
Things are planned out a long time ago. I mean, this this is funny how it's all planned. Like,
You
they
guys,
just-
Guys,
picture of
guys.
Rosie Rios holding the 2 6s, or holding up the 6s, so she's holding up the devil 6s. You guys ever seen that picture?
who? Say
Yeah.
that again. Nerd?
Rosie,
I have not. No.
bro,
What is it? What is it?
she's holding up the 6s, like the perfect symbol.
Like a gang.
Yeah, like a gang representing them clicks.
Guys,
Wow.
so to
All right,
get
vlogs.
biblical,
We're gonna have to
like-
wait a minute. I got to figure out how to get into the video so I can.
Oh, shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, they're all part of a clique, bro. This whole thing. I don't care
Well,
what you
there
think.
it's
That's
all
right.
it's all written. If you're a believer, it's all written that
Yeah,
if it takes centuries or if it takes months, it's all for that world agenda to get everybody to obey the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes, it's gonna take, you know, the Bible says you will not be able to trade or sell. It's gonna be one world currency and one world government.
and you know what, Mel? That's what, like, basically the point is, right? It's like it's our belief in our true belief in our true God versus theirs.
Yeah. Satan.
That's really what it is at the end of the day,
Yep.
right?
Yep. You're 100%
Well,
right.
as simple as that. And the reason why they hate us is because, like, I don't want to say that we keep winning, but I want to say that we won't give up faith. And they hate the
no.
fact that we won't give that up.
They gotta chop my head off.
No, as long as we don't give up, then I can't say that we win. But as long as we don't give up, that means there's still a fight.
That's
Yeah.
why
And go ahead.
that's why they say that joy comes from the Lord, and it doesn't matter if tomorrow they shut the banks down. You have to be happy with who you are, with what you've accomplished. You know, go out and hunt or have chickens or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or you bow down to the man, you know.
Exactly.
Whatever it takes.
No, I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna make up I'm gonna make up T-shirts that said "Lost my head for Jesus."
As long
Hey,
as
the
you can
nice
trade
thing
that-
is
as
we're
long
in
as
the
you can
right
trade that
place.
T-shirt for some eggs.
Yeah.
The nice thing is we're in the right place, and
Yeah.
you know, we're
But the question-
early, and we're learning, and you know, we're one step ahead of so many people, which I count myself super blessed. And the amount of knowledge that we're learning from each other here is just amazing. Just
That's
thinking
why
it,
we're here. That's why the Lord put us here, so
Yeah.
that we can
And
succeed
And
while
I'll
we're
tell you
here.
guys this. I tell you, as long as we don't give up, God always has a way. Trust me on that. I've lived it throughout my life. There's always a way that things
Amen.
seem to work out.
Mhm.
Can I download that to my Apple Vision Pro so I can experience it?
Dude, that's what you need to get rid of, man. Your Apple Vision, bro.
Can
I don't.
Your
I'm on the fence there, Dole. I think it's going to be a necessary evil like the internet, man. I think it's
upload
we're
it?
going to be able to. I mean, it's going to be like stream. Oh, see, okay, he's got it.
I'm telling you, it's here.
man.
Porn on that.
It's here, guys. It's not going anywhere. We're all this. I'm waiting for the day that we're gonna have this conversation within Expector.
I agree. I've been.
Okay.
Oh,
It's gonna
see,
happen.
my son, he loves playing games. I'm not really into games. I got the Quest because me and him can play together, and he likes poker too, and I like poker. So you know, Poker Stars was great on there. But until they-
Dude, I should get in there with you guys, man. Seriously, I played it once and it was just so overwhelming. I'm like, it's
We need
just
to
it's
go
weird. I'm like,
full Ready
trying to move
Player
my
One.
chips.
Bodysuit and all, haptic bodysuit, gloves, fucking
Treadmill so you can move,
Treadmill.
run around. Yeah.
all that shit. We need to go hard. If we're gonna go in, we need to go in.
just think of the productivity that they're going to be able to do. I mean, they already have it. I'm just so surprised at it. I mean, I remember VR when I was a kid going to the arcade games and like our actual real arcades,
Pac-Man.
big facilities. They had VR back then. It was trash. I mean, it would give you a headache and you would fall over. It was so trash. I mean, the frames per second weren't even, even recognizable, but they had it back then. So, I mean, it's been so long since this technology has taken to come out. It's just like crypto, and all the things that have taken time to come out, which really, in my opinion, were created a long time ago. They just couldn't implement them because we weren't really ready for it. We weren't ready for really all this that we have now, but we're finally actually getting it. It's kind of force fed into us now. And, people are kind of starting to get a little glimpse of it. You're starting to hear family and friends talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and even potentially even Ethereum. But, a lot of people know that shiny gold Bitcoin. But somebody had a question. I didn't not want to answer it. I think it was Marvin Davis. He goes, what do you guys think about this a new addendum coming? Do you think the automated market maker is actually going to be a nothing burger, or do you think it's really going to actually move into momentum?
I think it's going to help.
Everything's a nothing burger.
I just hope the article that my friends in our XRP holders hodlers group in Facebook aren't right, because they were saying that they posted some article that said XRP is going to go down to 10 cents after the AMM comes out.
No,
and I mean, obviously we'd all back up the truck, right? But like I don't know if I can take that, dude. From 60 cents down to 10 cents, watching that money disappear would make me vomit.
It's staying at 60 forever.
Dude, I would back up the truck,
it's a stable coin at 60 cents.
I'd sell my right kidney for it. Yeah, more XRP.
Shout out to the chat, for real.
Yeah, definitely. I might have to find me a loan if it went down to 10 cents.
I couldn't even imagine, right? At that point, like I don't
Dude, I'll be selling my golf clubs. I'll be selling all kinds of stuff if it goes down that low.
I think a lot of us have done that. I've given that advice many times to those that are looking for money to buy crypto and the dips.
Yeah, I'd sell my golf cart. That's what I'd sell my golf cart. This is for Zeno. I'd sell my golf cart that I bought with VeChain profits from 2021. That's what I do.
I love it. I had a little profit from VeChain in 2021. I've held VeChain ever since 2021 too. I never wanted to sell all that.
I didn't sell it all either, and then I added more this cycle. Yep.
Yeah, I added a teeny tiny bit. I'm pretty low on that one. I think that's going to do pretty well too. So,
Jewel, is Zeno still trolling the chat? Because I can't see the chat.
No, not anymore. No, he's not trolling.
Okay.
Have you guys used the VWorld app?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to look into that. How is it, Nerdy?
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's why I have mine. That's why I have mine on. I have all my stuff.
Hey, sidebar, real quick, guys. Let me, while I'm thinking about it, rest in peace, Smoke a Fatty with Patty. He used to be in our chats a couple years ago before he passed, and he was the one guy that was able to get into the Alex Jones show, InfoWars, and started educating them on the XRP ledger. So shout out to him.
Nice.
That was so random.
I know, because Duel mentioned Zeno. I remember Zeno from a couple years ago, and that was around the time that Patty passed away.
Oh.
So I just thought about that.
I see. It was a brain fart.
Basically. And the reason why I had the brain fart is because, when we moon, I intend to fly private, if you will, even if it's on a small plane. And he used to live by Teterboro Airport, which is adjacent to like LaGuardia and Kennedy in New York, over in Jersey. He used to live like 5 minutes away from the airport.
Hey guys, we got about 10 minutes left of the stream, so I want to get some last comments from you guys and anything else that you want to share. I want to kind of go in order. Yes, if you want to go first, then Bull, then Nerdy, then
I have a deep ass question for all of you guys on this panel right now.
Go.
All right. when you pass away, if you can be recognized for one thing, for example, you have screws that are named after people, you have devices like Bluetooth and stuff that are named after people, you have statues that are named after people, roads, you get the drift I'm going on, you have things that are named after people. What's one thing, if you could, before you pass away, create and name yourself after that one thing, what would it be?
I'll go first.
Go.
It would have to be something with utility, so not a statue. It would have to be, I think you mentioned like the screw or the screwdriver. It would have to be something that has utility because that name will live in perpetuity.
So you want to be a screwdriver?
Or any tool, or it could be a vacuum cleaner, it could be the mop, it could be the traffic light.
You want to be a tool of some sort. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, something with utility, because then it gets spoken 1,000 times a day, every day, across the world.
Okay. But do you know exactly what it would be?
No, because I've never given that concept any thought ever in my life.
Alan, go.
I'm gonna be.
This is hard.
I'm gonna be the best bicycle seat that I can.
Oh, nice.
Stick up other people's butts.
I'm kidding.
Nice.
I take a lot of crap anyway, so it may as well be a bicycle seat. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you could be the leading industrial bicycle seat. No.
I think I want to be like, I don't know. That's really hard to say, man. I think I would try to just be something that would help people better themselves, whatever that be, and get to the next level in life. I don't know what that would be. It would be a shiny object for somebody, or it would be something of value. I don't know, but I mean, if I was to leave a legacy sort of thing, and I would have to create something, it would have to be something that would help somebody, I think, get to the next level in life. That's kind of what I would like to leave.
Do?
Dude, I don't even know, honestly. Some type of food, so that when people put me in their mouth, they get pleasure. I don't know.
Put me in your mouth.
I mean, dude, like, I just want to make people laugh, dude. So, like, whatever that means. If I can leave any legacy, if I can leave any legacy, it
Tell
would
that
be
to your wife, bro. Just be like, baby, I'm your special dish tonight, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
For me,
Diamond, Mel, what would you do, bro?
in my old life, before I was saved, I was a heavy gambler in the chicken business, like cockfighting.
Yeah.
And to leave a bloodline after my name would be like my dad's dream. Like
Of chickens?
a bloodline. See, the chicken business, it gets like horse racing. There's like thousands of dollars in these game
like
chickens.
breeds, right?
A breed,
You have your own
that
breed.
would be named after me. Yeah.
Bro, that's epic. That's fucking epic. That's hella
dope.
epic. That is epic as fuck.
Wait. So here's the question: did Dual Citizen, or Dual? You're the one that had the Volkswagen GTI, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so you would want to be the Volkswagen GTR, but the VR2. You want to be known for the VR2.
I'd want it to have two doors, whatever it is, because these four, like my new one, every time I look at it, I'm like, man, it has too many damn doors.
Could
I used to have an 86 model, but go ahead.
Could Mel's bloodline of chicken be an ingredient that's part of Dual Citizen's
KFC.
dish?
If they lose
yes.
a fight, you're gonna
Money
Hey, I
maker.
wanna hear
There's
a
lots
funny
of us
story real
steak
quick
here, by the
about
way.
the internet.
What's up?
So when the internet first came out, my dad's from Mexico and he doesn't speak English. So he asked my sisters, "Hey, I like roosters. Look for some chicken fights on the internet." I mean, this was in the 80s or something. And,
Check
and then
your
my
DM.
sister typed in cockfighting, and guess what came out?
Nah, I don't want
Something not good. Yeah.
Yeah, two gay guys sorting it out. My dad
That's
like, "You're nasty."
hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh
she's funny.
man.
All right.
That's
Well, on
hilarious.
that note,
Yeah, no doubt.
I
We
know,
could
right?
wrap up on that.
here.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
All right,
thanks
guys.
for everybody being here. I really appreciate you guys in the chat. Let me just go in the order here that I got left in my thing here. Let's see.
That
I
was
think
fun.
it was the first one, man. Wen Mullet, appreciate you, brother, for showing up. Drag Dubs, Mrs. Kills, Moneymaker, Lower Level, Tyrant, Crypto OG, Dual Citizen, thanks again for being here. Nerdy, dude, thanks for always just showing up when you can, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro. Really do. Jazzy Jeff, they call you all the time. It's DJ Jazzy
Jazzy XRP, not Jeff.
XRP.
That's a
Yes,
whole nother guy.
that's right.
There you go.
So don't nobody say that. Dual Citizen, thanks, man. Glad you made it. I know you had some things going on today, and keep shouting out the chat here. I don't want to miss anybody. Crypto OG, bro, thanks for being here.
Right, guy.
GDLT, Rye Guy, Zeno, I
Apex.
seen you in the chat. Apex, I sent you the link. Just jump in real quick and hang out in the background. Wen Mullet, I chatted you out. So XRP Nelson, I think I've seen you before.
Oh, shit.
And a couple new people in here.
What's up, OG? What's up, Mullet?
Melinda Carpenter
OG.
coming out. Fly Kiwi. And we got a couple other new ones here. My screen is jacked up right now. Anyway, about ready to lose power. That's probably why. So,
All right.
guys, we'll go ahead and end the stream. I don't have no outro.
I do.
Still.
I have an outro.
You got an outro?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have an outro for you guys. You know what my outro is?
What is
If
that?
you, guys, if you guys just want to just not worry about anything in the world for a little bit and just want to just have some good time for yourself, go buy yourself some brownie mix, make yourself some brownies, get yourself a nice cup of milk or whatever milky dessert that you like to go with it, and enjoy that shit. Watch a movie, just chill.
I seriously, dude, that's what I've been trying to do lately. It's just disconnect from.
No.
It's crazy.
That almost sounds like minutes.
Bro,
Yeah.
Good night.
Thanks for the minute. buddy.
have a good
All
one,
right,
y'all.
guys.
Peace.
I appreciate everybody
Thank you,
showing up.
Navigator, for having me on.
Hell yeah, bro.
Thanks,
Now,
Alan. Thanks, Crypto.
Got you were there,
Navigator.
buddy. I'm sorry because I can't see your logo anymore. Yes, thanks for coming out, guys, and I will see you guys on the next stream. Gonna go ahead and end right now,
Later, Navi. Peace.
Right.
guys.
Peace.
And Tyran, sorry I missed you, bro. And Devon,
Peace. Peace. Peace.
Silver Days.